Dear students, in this sections we are going to discussing about transaction state diagram. Actually, this diagram explains how a transaction moves through its execution states. That means how a transaction moves from the active to the terminated stage. Here, this is the state diagram of a transaction. Here, a transaction goes into an active stage immediately after the beginning of a transaction. In the active state, there are two operations are there, read or the write. Read means reading a data from the database. Write means writing a data to the database. When the transaction ends, it moves to the partially committed state. At this point, we are using a protocol to ensure that the system failure will not result in an inability to record the changes of the transaction permanently. Once this check is successful, it entered into the committed stage. Once committed, it concludes that the execution is successful and all the changes recorded permanently in the database. If the check is unsuccessful, it entered into the failed state. If the transaction may have to be rolled back or write or do the operations if it is in a failed state. The failed state may be restarted later automatically or by being resubmitted by the user as a new transaction. The terminated state corresponding to the transaction leaving the system with a successful transaction. In the active state, there are two possibilities are there, end or the abort. End means the read or write operation is successful. Otherwise, we call it as an abort stage. So, these are the different stages of a transaction state diagram. The first one is the active, partially committed, committed, failed and the terminated. Otherwise, we can call they are the various operations. The begin transaction means the transaction is beginning and entered into the active state. Read or write means in the active state there are two operations are there, reading a data from the database or writing the data to the database. End transaction means the read or write is successful and we are checking the partially committed state. The commit transaction means all the transaction is successful and all the changes are made safe to the database. The rollback or abort means we have to do the operations again. That's all about the state diagram. Thank you.